I call this regular meeting of the San Marcos City Council, work session meeting of the San Marcos City Council to order. Today is Wednesday, November 5th of 2025. The time is 3 p.m. Ms. Cordova, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Rodriguez? Here. Mr. Gonzalez?
Here.
Ms. Garza? Mayor Houston?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Mendoza?
Here.
Mr. Gonzalez? Mayor, we have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next up is our citizen comment time frame. City Council will hear citizen comments at regular meetings, work sessions, and workshops. Those wishing to speak during citizen comment, public hearing, or Q&A, there is a sign-up process. For those of you who may be online, when it is almost your turn, there's going to be a pop-up question that appears on your screen, and you must respond to it in order to speak and turn on your video when it's your turn. Speakers may speak once and may not yield time to others. You'll have 3 minutes to speak after you state your name. A timer is displayed on the screen. You will start in the green bar. When the timer shows only yellow, you have less than 20 seconds left, and a little bell will ring. When the timer is red, your time to speak is up and a bell will ring, and it's a louder bell. If you hear a popping sound, step back a little from the microphone. Mayor and council will endeavor to ensure that meetings are conducted in a courteous manner and in an atmosphere free of defamation, intimidation, personal insults, profanity, or threats of violence. If you do any of those, you will hear the gavel, and I will ask you to leave the council chambers. This is your warning. Our citizen comment today will be Mitty Miller first, followed by Deborah Giles Webster, and after that will be Maxfield Baker, who it looks like is joining us online. So, Mitty Miller? It is now your turn, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor and City Council and all the city constituents. My name is Mitty Miller, and I'm actually speaking on behalf of a future project that the Dunbar Sisters Foundation have provided to the city, and it's called the Dunbar History Walk. And basically what I just want to say that I do want to thank Charlotte and our committee for working with us, but I just want to enlighten on a few things regarding this, and mainly is because we want to preserve the history of the Dunbar neighborhood. And by preserving that, we want to recognize the pioneers that actually made the Dunbar neighborhood what it is then and now. And it's going to be done with businesses, people, churches, and organizations. But I do want to put in a note that since the neighborhood is really not recognizable as it was years ago, that by electing the people that we would like to see on this Dunbar History Walk, we would like to do it as a ballot, where we would actually put in different businesses, people, churches, and organizations, and allow them to vote for that. Because we do want, like I say, go back into the history. In July 2025, the Dunbar Sisters Foundation hosted a Dunbar reunion, and we did bring up the ideal. And with the Dunbar reunion, it was just people that have previously lived in the Dunbar neighborhood. They're no longer living there, or even in San Marcos or in Texas. But we did bring up the ideal of what we had presented to the city, which is the Dunbar History Walk. And they were very excited. They were open arms about it. They wanted to actually be in line with it, so we did get their information with it and know more about it. So I just feel like at this time that with the Dunbar neighborhood and the walk, which would be located behind the Dunbar Center, Recreation Center, and the walk would include a person's name, a little history about them, so that way, whenever they take a walk, it'll just kind of reminisce on the history which made the Dunbar neighborhood. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Deborah Giles Webster.
All right. Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and all that other good stuff. My name is Deborah E. Giles Webster, and I'd like to thank you all for the opportunity to come before you and voice my opinion on this platform. Thank you, Charlotte, and the crew. Thank you. So, how many of y'all are from San Marcos? I mean, real San Martians. Okay, okay. So born and raised here. I was born and raised here, and I've been watching how our neighborhood thrived in spite of all that we had to go through, and just to survive is anything less than amazing. So I'm not sure, even when we, the Dunbar community, became the Dunbar community, because we were just known as the colored part of town. But let me ask you this. Do you recall the G&G store? They were the first ones who started selling ices. Do you recall when the train track crossing was in the middle of the street at Guadalupe and Cheatham Streets? Do you remember Ho Groceries or even Weiss grocery stores? Okay, now I get some nods, okay? So some do, some don't. So that's my point. We would like to bring back to memory those who actually built up the Dunbar community. People like Reverend Alfonso Washington. He was not only a minister, but he was a plumber. He was a great plumber. And Reverend James Houston, he was not only a pastor of Jackson Chapel, he was also a barber with his own shop. Miss Catherine Hardiman, she was one of our first daycares. And if you remember the house right off of Guadalupe, well, it was Comal Street at the time, but now it's Martin Luther King. It's a rock house right there on the right. But anyway, I mean, it's just things like that. What about Mr. Sammy Hardiman, who owned his own smokehouse, and he sold his own barbecue sauce? He wouldn't give you the recipe. He would tell you how good it is. But there are just so many who were, I just want their names to be recognized, their names to be remembered, and their names, those people were very influential in our neighborhood. Yes, even Miss Ollie Hamilton's store. So we have a lot to be proud of. We have a lot of people that we like to edify, as Mitty Miller was saying. You know, the people who, you really don't know them, but you do know them once their names are presented and what they did, and that's exactly what we would like to do. Say their names, give a short bio so you'll know who they are and how they really, really brought up the Dunbar community. And yes, they did. That's not bringing it to me, is it? Oh, it is. Okay. So anyway, as mentioned before, we would like to present at least 10 or 15 people and let the community vote on it. And I mean the real community of Dunbar, not the people that are there right now, because the people that are there right now in Dunbar are not the people of Dunbar of yesteryear. So those are the people that I would like to bring forward and to vote on, and to be able to vote on these nominees and inductees that we would like to induct on our historical walk. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Maxfield Baker.
Hello, can you hear me? See me well?
We can, yes.
Fantastic. So I am speaking today. I'm not able to attend the 6 o'clock meeting, so I wanted to address this now. Tonight, you all are set to consider the meet and confer extension. I wanted to remind council of a ethics commission decision that was sent out on November 1st of 2023 to Mark Gleason regarding his vote and participation in the discussion on the meet and confer agreement. I received this letter from Sam Aguirre about the Ethics Commission's decision, where, to quote, it says, "You violated section 2.423A1 of the San Marcos Code of Ethics in that you voted to approve the meet and confer agreement with the San Marcos Police Fire Association when in November of 2020, the San Marcos Police Fires Association provided campaign contributions to you that exceeded $300. It goes on to say, a letter of admonition may be issued when the commission finds the violation of the ethics code was minor and was committed unintentionally. I would posit to council that many of you have received contributions during your political campaigns from not only the Firefighters Association, but also from the Police Officers Association. And that as a result of that, our ethics code would suggest that you that have received those should recuse yourself from the discussion as well as a vote on this issue. I would ask that you all, before considering this item in the 6 p.m. meeting, that you ask Sam Aguirre, again, our legal counsel, whose goal is to make sure that everything we do is above board and meets every aspect of our city code and ordinances, including our ethics code. That you ask Sam to identify what are the requirements for recusal, especially as it relates to political action committees, and whether you all are able to vote on this without at least the bare minimum of signing a form to indicate a consideration to the appearance of impropriety. As I understand it, you all could still vote and discuss this if you at least go through that low bar. It's really frustrating to have, this isn't the first time I've mentioned this, and here you all are set to discuss this. The last thing I'll say is the meet and confer agreement, when last passed in 2022, set up to say that you all would, which means staff and the Police Officers Association, would meet in good faith to discuss these issues. You all are now asking for an extension, and as far as I and the public are aware, there was no good faith meeting. So I would ask that Stephanie Reyes, you also address who dropped the ball there. Was it city staff that never requested the meeting? Was the Police Officers Association refusing to meet? Why were there no good faith conversations? Thank you.
And that concludes our citizen comment for the work session. And so now we are to item 1. Ms. Cordova.
Receive a presentation from Destination Services regarding the creation of the Dunbar Neighborhood History Walk and provide direction to the city manager.
Ms. Reyes.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. In December 2024, Destination Services art staff began the conversation with members of the Dunbar neighborhood of a history trail to recognize members of the Dunbar community who contributed to the vitality of that neighborhood. This idea is an initiative inspired by the Dunbar Sistas, a group of women whose sisterhood began while playing softball in the Dunbar neighborhood as teenagers and continues to thrive decades later. Mitty Miller and Deborah Webster, members of the Dunbar Sistas, approached city staff with the idea to recognize Dunbar neighborhood community members and places of the past. A project committee and a review committee were formed from community stakeholders to plan and develop the project and review community submissions. Destination Services staff will be here today to speak about the creation of the Neighborhood History Walk. Without further ado, I will turn it over to Charlotte Watney, Creative and Marketing Manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. The Dunbar History Walk is a visible way to recognize the intangible heritage and tell the story of the Dunbar neighborhood. The project was brought to the city for consideration by the Dunbar Sisters Foundation to acknowledge, remember, and honor the places and people that are important to the Dunbar community. It was originally suggested to put the markers throughout the neighborhood, but after discussion, staff recommendation was to put them in one area. This allows the inclusion of markers for non-physical places and becomes a destination to learn more about the community. Placing them around the walking path at Dunbar Park was ultimately decided on, since this location is also significant to the neighborhood in the past as a ball field and currently as a neighborhood recreation and gathering area. The Dunbar History Walk will be a multi-year project with annual installations. Submissions will be gathered from the community and then researched for accuracy. All submissions that meet the criteria with a connection to the neighborhood will be kept on a running list for the duration of the project. This aerial view of the park sidewalk loop gives you a general idea. What happened?
It flashed and then it went away.
This aerial view gives you a general idea of the sidewalk loop and gives you a general idea of where the markers would be installed. The project idea was presented to the Park and Rec Advisory Board and received an initial consensus to move forward with developing the idea. Art staff has also been in communication with the park staff to ensure that the type and location of the markers will work with the park's maintenance plans. The plaques would be rectangular on a raised platform, similar to the ones that are in front of memorial trees, with an art element, possibly of tile or mosaic on one side of it, that represents the culture significant to the local residents. We will work with the neighborhood artist on the design and then have it fabricated. Oops. Sorry. Is this not in order? Oh, this is an old presentation. Before I get to that. The project will be more robust than just placing markers in the park. Information on each person or place will be gathered during the submission review process. When the markers are installed, the information will live on smtxarts.com, which is a microsite of Visit San Marcos, on their current Dunbar Neighborhood History and Culture page. We aim for this to become a site that can tell the story of the neighborhood with historic details, photos, audio, video added as they become available. The great thing is that it's not a one and done. If more information comes available later on, we can always add to it. A sign with the project overview would be placed at in the park also that will closely match what is currently there, the Parks and Rec currently has there. It'll include a QR code and URL address so that people that visit know where to go to get more information. To draft plans for the project and decide on installations each year, 2 committees are formed with members from neighborhood stakeholders and residents. The Project Development Committee will draft guidelines and plan for the project overview, submission collection, community outreach, and dedication celebration. The committee is made up of members from stakeholder organizations that include Dunbar Heritage Association, the Calaboose African American Museum, the Dunbar Sisters Foundation, current Dunbar resident, and city community engagement and art staff. The Submission Review Committee will review community submissions for accuracy by conducting research and will rely heavily on current and former residents for their knowledge of the neighborhood of the past. They will draft submission evaluation guidelines to use in filling the designated number of markers that will be installed each year. The inaugural year will include more initial installations to launch the project. The committee will be made up of members from Dunbar Heritage Association, the Calaboose African American Museum, the Dunbar Sisters Foundation, and the City Historic Preservation, local library, local history, and art staff. A big part in planning for the success of this project is community outreach. We want to make sure the Dunbar neighborhood sees this as their project and that the city staff is just here to help facilitate it. In addition to coordinating with communications department for PR and media, multiple community open houses in the neighborhood will be held to explain the project to everyone. Both physical paper and online submission forms will be available. This gives the opportunity to people that used to live in the neighborhood but that no longer do, to be able to submit information through the online form. The committee will work with community groups to help distribute project information and submission forms. Flyers will also be handed out door to door to reach as many residents as possible. The inaugural installation for the Dunbar History Walk is slated for fall 2026. This is the current project timeline to reach the goal and will be adjusted following council direction. And this concludes my presentation.
Okay, Ms. Reyes, what do you need from us? Anything?
Are we seeking direction from mayor and council on this item, or is it just more information?
It was for information and also kind of a consensus for us to move forward and continue with the project.
Council?
Yeah, I just had a question.
Go ahead.
It was mentioned by the 2 speakers about sort of that voting form thing that, you know, to make sure that the people who maybe haven't had the opportunity to select somebody. I was just curious, is that something that y'all are needing city support with? And, you know, how can we support? I'm looking at the timeline for the installation, and I see a budget approval from the Arts Commission. Are we still waiting on that?
Yeah, they said to move forward. Tomorrow
Okay.
we're presenting to historic commission. And then next Wednesday after, they'll give us the budget, approve the budget. The budget won't be astronomical. They're gonna say yes because it's kind of all our project. So
Okay,
that's not a
cool.
problem.
Yeah, I was
And
just trying to see if those were separate items or if that's something that we're gonna incorporate within this walk as well. That's what I wasn't clear on.
Yeah, well, the thing about the ballot, as I understood the ladies to say, is a lot of people don't live there anymore. And finding all of those, I know one very active person, he lives in Colorado now. And you know who I'm talking about. And so how would you find everyone? Can you come to the microphone, please?
Yes, right now, we are communicating by Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and phone calls, text messages, email.
Okay.
And we've got a pretty good following, especially on email, especially with the older people.
Okay.
We're mainly working on getting the guidelines for both, they're on the committee, and then being able to get the word out. We didn't want to go too far before we had a consensus that it was okay for us to move forward.
Yeah. I think Ms. Miller
Okay, I
wants
just
to
wanna
say
add,
something. Come on,
also, as far
get to the
as
microphone.
people-
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
As
you.
far- Sorry. As far as the people that we would like to see to start off with, like I said, we want to start off with the ones probably in the late 1800s and early 1900s. We do have a collaborated list that DHA used back in the day that was done by the late Dr. Elvin Holt.
Okay.
And he was a good researcher in that
Yeah.
area. So we do have a list of businesses, organization, of course, the black churches. That's basically what makes up the Dunbar neighborhood now, because they're all mainly in one location. So we do have a list, and also we are seeking other people that does research. Miss Ollie Giles, another lady that has a lot of history.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we'd like to go into that.
All right,
Thank you.
okay. So is.
No one would be, it's a running list, so that's why it's a multi-year, it may take 5-10 years to get everybody installed.
Well, you're talking about a budget, so a budget tells me that there's a determined, there's a number of markers already set.
We have talked about it a little bit, but not, we haven't set how many we're gonna do each year. We were
Okay.
thinking the inaugural year, maybe doing like 10, and then seeing how
Adding.
many each year, having the same number each year installed.
Okay. I like the idea of continuing to add, because,
Because we may not reach somebody that until 2 years from now,
Okay.
and then they would be able to still submit.
okay,
Okay.
so, Mr.
Thank you for the
uh,
clarification.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you. We're talking about the streets, Valley Street and Jackman and Center Street, MLK, Paramore, in that area there, or there's other streets where,
Of what the
that you're
outline,
gonna reach out to, other residents?
you know, whatever is the Dunbar neighborhood outline. is-
The historic,
Yes.
area.
Yes. But if the business or the person was from there, but currently they could be living somewhere else and say, oh, I remember this person or this business.
Right, okay, I was just kinda curious. Same question you had, how are you gonna get a hold of those folks?
well, it sounds like they have started a humongous effort to reach out, so
Yeah, well,
I'm
good luck
going
to
with
y'all
what they're
guys.
going with.
There's a lot of rental property there now. It's not what it used to be back in the 70s and the 60s, what I remember.
Yeah,
But good luck. Y'all doing a great job. Thank you.
yeah. All right, so proceed with all deliberate speed, I guess, would be the,
Yeah, and just appreciation to the people who helped put this together. I mean, as somebody who doesn't have the history and knowledge that the mayor does, you know, with what used to be here, it is cool being a lover of history to think about the fact that I'm gonna have an opportunity to learn more about the neighborhood from this generation of things. So I just appreciate y'all's time and attention into this. I think it's gonna be really cool.
get something there that's educational, that kind of brings us up to current and continues on. So this is good. Thank you. All right, item 2, Ms. Cordova.
The city council will convene in executive session pursuant to section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code, Economic Development, to deliberate regarding possible incentives for A, Project Shirley Temple, B, Project Primrose, and C, River Bridge Public Improvement District. And then section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and 551.072, real property, to receive legal advice and deliberate regarding the lease of real property at 201 South LBJ Drive.
Okay, looking for a motion to go into executive session. Motion from Ms. Rodriguez and seconded by Mr. Saul Gonzalez. Ms. Cordova, if you'll call the roll on this
Okay,
motion,
on
please.
this one, all right. Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Ms. Garza? Mayor Houston?
Aye.
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
Mr. Mendoza?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez? And Ms. Amanda Rodriguez?
Aye.
All right, we will go into executive session at 3:26. Council, if y'all will proceed directly. We have returned from our executive session that we completed at 5:55. Ms. Cordova, do we have someone online or with us for Q&A with press and public?
We did have somebody signed up, but I don't
Are they online?
see them. I don't see them online, Mayor.
Okay. He did say he couldn't be here at
Right,
6,
he
so
did.
I think
He
that,
did
okay.
mention.
So there's no one, and there being no further business on our agenda, I will adjourn us at 5:56.